Yo, what's going on guys, and welcome back to yet another video here on the channel. In today's video we are going to be reacting to a Halo Reach video. Now I actually have written a script. I'm currently into mission 4 of my Halo Reach script and why I love Halo Reach and why it's such a damn good game. I haven't finished it, I haven't worked on it for the last month, but if this video gets 10 likes I will finish that script off, I will edit it and I will get it up on here on the channel for you guys to see. So far, from what I have written, it is actually really damn good. I think you guys will have a good laugh and really get to understand why this game is so special to me and many other players out there who love Halo and love Halo Reach. But I thought today we could react to somebody else and see what somebody else thinks of Halo Reach, and of course give my feedback on not like obviously not a scripted side of things, but more just kind of like what I think of the game without it being like fully in depth too much to literally give away everything. But of course, if you guys could like and subscribe, that would mean the world to me. I'm on the road to hit 400 subscribers by the end of the year, so if we can hit that goal, that would be awesome. And let's jump right into it. Now the video we're actually, the channel we're actually reacting to, I think is called Doktor Skipper. If you guys haven't seen this guy, he's pretty funny, he's pretty cool, so highly recommend go check out his channel and subscribe to him. He's a pretty cool dude. In fact, I need to like that video as well. And yeah, let's watch his let's react to his video.
Halo Reach is a game that has changed my life. From the golden era of gaming in the Xbox 360, Halo Reach was one of the first games I would stay up till 7 in the morning for on a school night and just game and make friends that I still talk to this day. And for this video,
that's
awesome. I want to
awesome.
talk about its campaign. Also Nathaniel, who has commented on every video, it's happening. You could rest now. Well, rest until the next Reach video. No further ado, let's just hop right in.
Yeah, bro, make another Reach video.
After the third installment, Halo had become the most popular video game franchise in the world. Bungie going
Hell
through
yeah.
victory like the Chicago Bulls in the 90s had the studio revered as a gift that kept on giving for Microsoft. But they were also looking for an exit plan from the...
And that's the thing I mentioned in my Fire 343 video. If you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. I talk about it towards the end of that video as like, the generation now is growing up without Halo, and it is a sad reality and sad fact that there's people out there who, like, especially the younger generation that's coming up, a lot of them have never pretty much even heard of Halo, or they've heard of it, they've never played it and have no interest in playing it, and it's because 343 keep messing up. They haven't delivered on a good Halo game. We haven't had a good Halo game since Halo Reach. I'm just saying. Now, I will say the multiplayer for Infinite was pretty good, but that's about it. The campaign was mid, and Halo 4 and 5 was terrible to me.
The thing that they were most known for, and what pretty much made the studio what it is today. Because sadly, NOP and Marathon weren't the games that made the shadow people at Microsoft multi-millionaires. Surprising, I know. In 2007, shortly after Halo 3's success, Bungie was split apart from Microsoft, becoming its own company. They were still making their last 2 contracted games, but now under the independent collaborative Bungie, not Microsoft's Bungie. They would then split up its team, with around 70 people working on a Halo 3 expansion titled Halo 3 Recon, soon to be ODST, sold as a full-priced game by Microsoft due to them feeling finessed, not wanting to sell it for cheaper because this was at the time where Microsoft was being ran by Mr. Eugene Krabs. Now they're ran by that one smiling friend CEO with the chicken nuggets.
It's my IP to sit on and do nothing with.
Microsoft felt slighted because
That's
Bungie
true.
was using an expansion to finish 1 game on their contract, while the rest of the staff worked on their other original contracted game. So with the launch of Halo 3 ODST in 2009 was also the beta to Bungie's new coming title, Halo Reach, as well as an Easter egg
music,
announcement
bro.
saying Destiny awaits. Coming soon will be the 10th anniversary of Destiny, but in 2009, which was 15 years ago, this was the first ever mention of it. But, as I said earlier, Halo Reach was a contract obligation with Microsoft, and Bungie...
I never really got that Easter egg whenever I played ODST until literally just now.
leads were burnt out after the massive crunch that was Halo 2, as well as the
I heard
small
about
but
that.
still crunch that was Halo 3. So yeah, after getting whipped...
So if you guys don't actually know, I don't think he really explains it in this video. If you guys don't know, basically Halo 2 was completed in 10 months, and they had an absolute crunch time. Many of the actual developers were sleeping in their offices. Divorces happened and relationships were kind of split because of the time crunch that Microsoft gave them. And in the end, we managed to get Halo 2, and it literally lived up to the game it ended up becoming, for the most part. Halo 2 was actually also, if you guys don't know, was actually supposed to be the ending point. There wasn't supposed to be a Halo 3. Thankfully, there actually was.
And forced to sleep in the offices, Bungie did not want to make
Oh, he
Halo
did mention it.
no matter how successful they were, and were already on rocky waters with Microsoft after Halo 3 ODST. So wanting to make Destiny, Bungie tackled Halo Reach in a way that would make the game still feel authentic to the Halo brand, while also testing the creative limits of the studio. Halo 3 was a game that didn't do anything too risky to piss people off. It took what was good about Halo 2 and CE and perfected them to the best of its ability, and the foundations of what made Halo enjoyable. It's why Halo 3 is so many people's favorite Halo game. If this was going to be their last Halo game ever, they were going to make a game that was going to both set up their future and be one last hurrah. So Halo Reach became the first ever test dummy to what eventually become Destiny. At first this sounded like a bad idea, to turn a Halo game into a crash dummy, but it was actually the opposite. Instead of making a safe sequel to Halo 3 with more polygons and better graphics, they didn't make Halo 4, and instead took on a challenge to make something
I'm glad they didn't, to be honest.
Ditching the safe anchored the Master Chief and the Halo identity that Bungie gained over their last 3 hit games, and instead went out of their comfort zone, tackling a real creative challenge that Bungie hasn't had to face since Combat Evolved. They made a prequel deviating from what made the studio iconic. Right,
that trailer
delivered
hope was just perfection.
Where a lot of the principles and tactics would eventually get used within the Tiger engine that was made for Destiny, and the game loop of Halo once again evolved. Halo Reach is a controversial title for this. It was on paper the first Halo game that changed the Halo format in a way that made some uncomfortable. But
and it also kind of messed with the book.
I see it as for the better. And has a lot of game choices that make it more enjoyable to me, even more than a game like 3. And in comparison to games like 4, 5, or Infinite, Reach was the most confident in its changes, with the best quality. It could as well have been the catalyst for 343 chasing the tails of giants they could never live up to. Feeling the pressure to always evolve like Bungie did for the last game, but never quite nailing it down.
Why do they have to do that?
In the start, the first piece of controversy for Halo Reach was its existence. The Fall of Reach was a book that came out on October 30th, 2001, about a month and a quarter before the release of Halo Combat Evolved to explain the game's introduction. The book was ordered to be created by Microsoft and was written by Eric Nyland, going over Bungie's head following the lore bible of Combat Evolved. Halo Reach 2010 is Bungie's version of The Fall of Reach, and retcons the book written by Microsoft, and that pissed off a lot of people. The Fall of Reach is enjoyed by many in the old Halo fandom. It's a good standalone book and made many not happy with Halo Reach's adaptation. But let's be honest.
Maybe I should actually end up reading the Fall of Reach book. Although I've heard a lot of good things about it, but apparently Reach falls in a day in the book. I'm not sure.
Most people who played Halo Reach were idiots like me in front of the TV at 8 years old.
Exactly. I was like around 10 when Halo Reach came out.
From work, cracked open a Guinness, and played Invasion. A book has a lot of benefits that a game doesn't. It can expand a world and its characters heavily over many, many hours straight from the thoughts of characters' minds directly. Where in a game like Halo Reach, having the characters speak plain would be jarring and unnatural. So you have to use the medium of show, don't tell. This is a problem with all visual mediums. A movie like Dune has to get creative in its presentation to make you understand its world. Whereas when you read the book, you get a more descriptive detail in writing of a setting or the thought processes of characters, at the cost of having to use your imagination to interpret the text. I like The Fall of Reach as a standalone book, getting the origins of the Master Chief and how he killed an ODST, which makes me sad now because I like ODSTs, but I've always been turned off by outside media having to coexist with in-house media to understand said in-house media. End of the day, Master Chief is a stoic that is really cool and saves the world and is seen as space Jesus to everyone, giving hope and happiness. But you don't need to know he used to play with worms and has a gluten intolerance. You can find that in the book, okay? That's why they exist. So is it really fair to limit Bungie, who didn't even have a say in the original Fall of Reach novel, to now limit their telling of the Fall of Reach and their original game universe? All for a book that 95% of the general fan base didn't read. Like how the Halo shows now tackled the Fall of Reach.
I didn't even know about the book until years later.
The best way to go about these mediums is to see all 3 things as their own interpretations and
the show's version is the worst.
At the end of the day, the planet falls and Master Chief takes over. All drains lead to the ocean. So with all that being said, I love the direction of how Halo Reach is actually displayed from Bungie's vision in its campaign. A drastic change in Halo Reach is the existence of Spartan 3s. Spartan 3s are not Spartan 2s like the Master Chief or the Spartans before him with Mark IV armor. They're instead a more cheaper, disposable line of Spartan, with the core difference being that they have more humanity in comparison to a Spartan 2. Similar to the dynamics of ODSTs, Spartan 3s benefit heavily from cooperation, which is where you come in, being the third big change to Halo Reach. As a Spartan, you're not the Master Chief, instead you're the 6th member of Noble Team, which is your new squad. Noble 6 is a character I've always had a deep love for in Halo. As a kid, I thought he was cool and heroic, but playing him again for this video and this position of life I'm in has made me appreciate the character way more. At a glance, Noble 6 seems like another self-insert for a main character, like you see from any other game. But Noble 6 is vague enough to still be a vessel for the player, while also still being unique enough to be his own independent person. This isn't me as a random Spartan or the rookie ODST. This is me as Noble 6. Like the Master Chief, Noble 6 is a capable lethal weapon that can be efficient when alone, but unlike Unlike the Master Chief, Noble Six isn't so strong that he could take out Scarab single-handedly and give the Covenant back their bomb. Also, Noble Six is nobody, and I just said that we're Noble Six, so I guess we're nobody as well. From the start of the game until Reach falls, a feeling of dread and unimportance lingers around you. Noble Six in the start is...
Yeah, basically what happens, like, when Halo Reach begins, there's that sense of, like, you already know how the story's going to end. You know that the planet's going to fall. But it's that feeling of, like, you know what I mean? It's like that feeling of, hope at the start, and then after Mission 5, everything changes. The hope that you had is then gone, and it's desperation of, like, we're basically just abandoning the planet. We have to just get as many people off the planet as possible. We're screwed. This planet's done. There's nothing we can do to save it. And then you get to Cortana or Dr. Halsey to get Cortana, and there's that little sense of hope that, yeah, we can still win this war, but we're not going to be alive to see that. We won't be around to see us win the war, but our sacrifice will help that happen in a way. That's how I've interpreted the game, and I just love this story. To me, Reach is like an amazing story from start to finish. It's just beautiful. I love at the start, you see the planet being green, vibrant, colorful, and then as the missions go along, you start to see it fade and get worse, and then there's more like oranges and reds, and the skybox completely just changes to be completely different. It's awesome.
It's unimportant, and by the end, when you
it shows all the detail that they put into the game and the story.
Controller down and stop playing as him, he's also forgotten.
Yeah.
After seeing the predetermined outcome at the start of the game with your cracked helmet and the future overgrown Reach, you then start at the beginning when you first leave your Warthog, and quickly this feeling of uneasiness lurks. You're the new guy that no one knows anything about. Even as a player, you don't know anything about
You're
yourself.
a lone wolf.
You're a ghost
Everything's
replacement for someone
classified.
that once had chemistry with Noble Team, but this isn't unique. And this is because everyone besides Noble 1 and Noble 2 have also replaced fallen members of Noble Team. Addressed by your commander, he introduces you to your new team, seeing you as the last piece that makes Noble up to full strength. You're given a quick rundown of your squad mates as they head out the door without even addressing you. Still, Commander Carter eases you into being a team player, carrying you away from your past, now to be a part of something new, something better.
He went from a essential lone wolf to a team player, back to a lone wolf. It's poetry, it rhymes.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
Colonel, this is Noble 1. The Covenant are on Reach.
Repeat, this is Noble 2, Noble 6, Noble 5, do you copy?
His editing is really
The
good.
greatest thing Halo Reach does is display hope as this dwindling candle flame from mission to mission throughout the course of its campaign. A subversion to Halo 3 where the tagline for all the marketing was, believe. The concept of a Spartan itself is to represent hope. Spartans never die, they just go missing in action. This is constantly echoed throughout the Halo games. But this
Spartans
hope is
never die,
not
George.
The tagline for this game's marketing wasn't believe,
missing
but
in action.
rather remember Reach. It's another reason why I prefer Noble 6 to the Master Chief. There's something cool about the chosen savior of humanity trope, but maybe I'm just more of a sad person now as I get older, or I just really like seeing the realism of things not going the way you want to, and stuff just not meeting your expectations.
The cinematography for this game, the cutscenes are beautiful, fantastic. Hell, I could literally sit there all day and just keep rewatching them. That is the beautiful, artistic style that they went with. A lot of the style they went for was a lot of like satellite shots, camera angle, different shots of like, say your health. Like this shot right here is from like I think like a health pack or something, like a supply pack that was on his back. A lot of the shots are from that. Like say for instance, like in a movie, how you'd have like a cameraman following the main character around. It's basically how they've done with this. It's a more militaristic style they went for, and I love that. It's really unique, and not a lot of stories and games especially do that, and especially anymore don't really ever do it.
And having a guy fueled by hopeless adversity that's just trying his best while being more human is just really compelling to me. Can you tell I played Red Dead recently? Halo 3
still haven't
ODST had
played
this
that.
feeling displayed in its tone and surroundings when you played as the rookie. It was somber and dark, but in-game, you still find your friends all being alive at that, ending the game on a positive note. But there is nothing uplifting in Halo Reach. The lone wolf is thrown into an unwanted conflict where he plays a rigged game he's unaware of, and little by little the daunting truth that he's playing this rigged game becomes more apparent the harder he tries to fight against it. Unlike any other of the Halo games, Reach is the most serious in its tone, relying on world building as its sole source for storytelling. The Covenant are not whimsical or funny in any interaction like how they were displayed in previous games. Here they are brutal and intimidating, torturing soldiers, killing civilians, killing Spartans, not just random Spartans, some are even your own squad mates, all while still being intelligent, ruthless, and mysterious. They don't speak English and instead speak in their own unique language to each other, feeling truly foreign.
Yeah, I didn't actually back in the day when I played this game, I used to play Halo Reach with my best mate. Growing up, we played the hell out of this game. Replayed the campaign probably like 1,000 times at this point. I never really noticed that the Covenant didn't speak English until maybe a couple years ago. And it just really goes to show that obviously when you're a kid, you don't notice the fine details, you don't notice all these different things, and as you get older, that's when you start to notice things. But just this game just means so much to me, it really does.
Being even more disconnected from humanity. You don't learn about their purpose like Halo 2 or get the perspective from the other side. All you see is the aftermath of their actions from the perspective of a soldier. Even with Noble Team, the UNSC, ONI, your perspective is just as vague. Noble Team is developed by the world around them, not by your progression with them. You ain't going on fishing trips and hunting to learn about Cat and Emil. You're just the fly on the wall in a conflict larger than yourself. And within the team, you're still just the new guy. So until the ending, you answer to Carter, who answers to the higher chain of command, either it be ONI defenses or simple UNSC missions.
Love Carter, he's such a cool character. His armor is sick.
Reach uses its levels to flesh out your teammates as you progress through the Battle of Reach. You will fight with specific members and missions that make the most sense to their unique skill. And through these missions, you get to learn about the personalities of whatever member you're hanging out with. The first mission you play, where you don't even know that the Covenant are on Reach yet, you're on the ground with your squad looking at trash, trying to see what's going on while your marksman is in the sky avoiding ground conflict. And the thing that stuck out to me fast was George's interactions with the locals. The heavy gunner, who was once a Spartan too,
he's a big softy,
had the most humanity on the squad. And as the game kept going with the little time Reach had, they sold every character's personality to me. One of the best cutscenes is also around the start of the game.
Oh, I love this cutscene. The music as well.
One cutscene that has the awesome-ass camera movement from a first-person perspective where you punch an elite in the face. The entire cutscene displays the personalities of each Noble Team member. Cat is focused but lacks hindsight. George is emotional but delusional. Emil is prideful. And Carter is a great leader that cares for a squad. And you, Noble 6, are the lone wolf. And the way these traits are fleshed out is by interactions displayed through the camera and throughout the missions. The world building of Reach also applies to Noble Team. You're not told the origins of each member or what made them stand out to get assigned. You're instead shown why they are on the team. The uniqueness of Noble Team is displayed visually, from their armor to how they move.
It's great storytelling.
See it all. And this humanity of Noble Team is also used to help display Reach's narrative of fading hope.
Another thing as well within this story is the main character is really the planet, which is very unique for any story to be told. That it's really more focused on the actual planet itself, and the planet is dying around you as you progress the campaign.
Slip space rupture detected.
Are you reading this?
Slip space
Multiple
rupture
Covenant
detected.
signals must be
Slip
double.
space
Does anyone have
rupture
a visual
detected.
lead?
Slip space rupture detected.
At first, Halo Reach could seem traditional. A group of heroes doing things to save their home, then Reach decides to pull that rug from under you, undermining every action you do. At first, the planet Reach is green and beautiful, full of clear skies and wildlife, and shortly after finding out that the Covenant are on Reach, you go to Sword Base. I point this mission out specifically because you play on Sword Base twice, once at the start of the campaign, and then again at the end. And the visual difference from just the environment alone shows you the toll of the war and who is winning.
Yeah. Kind of like what I mentioned earlier.
Reach is visually rotting throughout your playthrough, chipping away and away as you are still holding on to hope of saving her. Every way you contribute is just wasting time, fighting a fire with nothing but a sand bucket, pushing...
Like, Mission 4 to me has always kind of felt like the UNSC is desperate. They're literally desperate to try and get the Covenant off of Reach. They're throwing everything they can, and then the moment the supercarrier Long Gun Assault basically shows up and reveals itself from that cloaking device that was cloaking it initially, which I actually had no idea about. I thought it just teleported there or something, but I didn't actually realize when I was a kid that it was hiding there the whole time. But that whole desperation of like, they lose frigate Grafton is destroyed, and then Mission 5 begins with Cat coming up with a plan on how to destroy the Long Line of Solace. It's that whole notion of like, we are desperate, we're going to throw everything we can at the Covenant, get him off the planet, and hopefully that will save it. George died in space, hoping that he'd save the planet, but as we all know, he didn't. And it's that of like his sacrifice was, in a way, for nothing. And it's a horrible feeling of realizing that a character that you love, and a character who loves his home so much that he's even dying for his home, only for that sacrifice that he's made to be in vain and for nothing. It's tragic. It's a really tragic story.
Back against the inevitable. You enter a battle after a scouting mission thinking that you have the upper hand, and you fight your way to a communication spire to then blow up the spire thinking you made an impact.
Yep.
Just to have everything be undone in a blink of an eye, sending you 5 steps back from where you just were, which was already 5 steps back. Doomed and waiting for backup, Noble Team still clings on to hope. With this hope, you do a whole scheme, fight to space, fight in space, and after all this fighting, now is the chance to save everyone by blowing up the Covenant mothership. Requiring a sacrifice to detonate manually, the one with the most humanity on the squad kills himself to protect his home. But, like I said earlier, George has a lot of humanity but is also delusional. This is not only displayed in his interaction with Emil, but also with Halsey, thinking Oni cares about anyone but themselves. Even the rest of the Noble Team knows that Oni doesn't give a shit about them. So, sacrificing himself to save Reach meant nothing, because it was undermined in an instant. A whole fleet of the same mothership you just fought to blow up replaces it instantly, sending you back 15 steps from where you just were, which was already 10 steps back. George died for nothing. Landing back on Reach, Noble Six is in the aftermath of this invasion. Fighting in the results of this pointless sacrifice, you still hold on to hope, fighting to save the innocent people of New Alexandria. Firsthand, you get to bask in the brutality of the Covenant, slaughtering both civilians and soldiers alike. You rescue those you can, and watch the city continue to burn and fall. You're doing nothing, and that hope you had is fading more and more. You're making no impact on this war, yet you keep fighting, and you keep fighting until you regroup with Noble Team. You address George's sacrifice and brainstorm what to do next. Well, Kat brainstorms what to do next. Everyone else doesn't even know if there's anything to fight for.
I love the line that Kat even mentions when she's like, she kind of like wants to know why the Spartans are on defensive deployments. And Carter questions her and goes, you know, do you want to know if we're losing? And then she says, I know we're losing. I want to know if we've lost. That line has always hit hard for me. And it's just really goes to show the storytelling, the writing that Bungie did for these characters, this story. Hell, this story means so much to me. And if I do end up completing that script and that video does eventually come out, you guys will get to really understand and see why this story means so much to me. In fact, I'm actually using Halo Reach as an inspiration for one of my TV shows that I'm writing, which I think a lot of people will really like.
Anymore. So far in the story, Kat has been the sole person holding on to hope. She sketched out the plan for George's sacrifice by using classified Oni data she stole earlier in the game, and right now she's tapping into higher comms to discover that Spartans are now being told to stop fighting and instead take a defensive stance for evacuation, except for Noble Team. While being smart and cunning, like I said, Kat is also oblivious and lacks hindsight. She's still scheming up plans and strategies holding on to this hope when the war is already lost, and you have now been sent on a new mission. Kat's death was the most shocking and impactful to me.
Yeah, it caught me off
because
guard.
in comparison to everyone else, it was the most realistic. She didn't die on a last stand or heroic sacrifice like the others. She died mid-conversation, mid-strategy, abruptly, because of human error. She died
I don't know if I really remember this because I was like 10 when the game came out, and when I first played it, her death to me was just completely out of nowhere. It was shocking. He's right. It is the most realistic death out of the whole of Noble Team, in a way. George's sacrifice is realistic as well. But it was so out of nowhere. Like, you didn't expect it. And that's what I think a lot of people liked that, is because it was just out of nowhere. In a way, it was like a plot twist that, in a way, I think you expect all of Noble Team to pretty much die, because Master Chief has to be the one to take the mantle for the next game. But just the way she died was just out of nowhere.
Because she was scared and distracted on getting everyone to safety.
Yeah, her shield was down.
With higher up commands while still thinking of a new plan, and she got caught off guard. You even saw this earlier when a combo of distraction and fear made her miss the button on your guys' elevator, which was a mistake that made both her and you lag behind everyone else. Because as I said earlier, Kat's weakness is hindsight and distraction. That focus without awareness got her caught by Halsey. This focus without awareness is how she lost her arm in the promotional trailer, and here it's what got her killed. The death of Kat also marks the turning point.
I think she was 22 years old too.
With Kat, the person who had a plan and was holding on to faith, dies while also accomplishing nothing. Carter holds her body as you look at the same New Alexandria you fought so hard to defend, on both land and sky, collapsing and on fire. And as you heard earlier from the radio in the elevator conversation, there are no more trick cards or hidden plans up your sleeve. It's over.
Game over.
You lost Reach, and now the plan is to get the people who are still alive off of it. Heading to Sword Base, the game feels different. You are no longer fighting to make an impact or change the war, but instead just surviving to complete a mission you know nothing about. Fighting through a same location that is now thrashed and overrun. Like I said earlier, visually you could see the war's toll on Reach. The skybox, the environments. It's horrible. Then
that's kind of like what I mentioned earlier.
You see soldiers dead, where you get the two different perspectives of Carter and June. We'll talk about this later, but it's a nice and subtle example of how they both see situations. After fighting and much skepticism of what you're doing, it's revealed that the team has been misdirected. The mission is not a torch and burn op where you blow up Sword Base. It's not even a standard UNSC mission. It's something entirely new. I've been going on about how Halo Reach is hopeless and depressing, and yeah, the game up to this point is pretty miserable. But still, Halo is a franchise about hope. And Reach is no different, even though it might not feel this way on the surface. Halo Reach's hope is just delivered in a different package. The hope of Halo Reach was never going to be from saving Reach itself. We behind the screen already knew that it was going to fall, and at some point Noble Team knows this as well. But hope in this game comes in a different way. Not from saving Reach, but rather saving the people who could then save everyone later. In the Darksteel, Carter is told by Halsey the importance of what they have been called for. And
that's kind of like what I was talking about earlier of like their sacrifice is basically for the people who are going to help finish the war. So they won't, in a way, like they've got to realize that they're not going to be around to kind of see the war end, and it's going to be their sacrifice is going to be saving as many people who will contribute to ending the war.
After defending Halsey,
saving humanity,
what this new hope is. No one's death was for nothing. Even
Cortana
from earlier has helped contribute. You all were chosen for something greater, to help all of humanity by putting your last bit of hope and getting this tool to the guy who could save everyone. And then after all that, Cortana chooses you, Noble 6, to specifically deliver her. So now you have an attainable goal to fight for again. You need to get off Reach with this package, and Noble Team needs to help you get there no matter the cost. June doesn't assist Noble on the suicide mission. Being the most evasive and cold of the group, he's sent to make sure Halsey doesn't get into enemy hands. Not get to safety like the package, but not get into enemy hands. The road to the Pillar of Autumn is brutal. With only 3 Noble Team members left, Carter is injured and near death, making himself a distraction as you take the rest of the journey on foot. With the Scarab in the way of you and Emil, the journey once again feels hopeless. You're not the Master Chief. You're not going to single-handedly take down the Scarab. So Carter sacrifices himself to save his squad, like the good leader he is, re-sparking that hope again. You and Emil then
Captain goes down with the ship.
Now at the retrieval point, Emil sacrifices his life, offering to stay on Reach by taking the turret to kill all Covenant flying vehicles that could interfere with the package pickup. He will die with the planet to make sure you get to safety. Almost at the hands of victory, the hands of safety. The Zealot that has stalked you the whole game, the one from the start, the one that killed Kat, is now here for a final strike. A surprise attack on Emil has him striking down the Zealot. After winning and getting boastful, Emil is then surprise attacked. And as prideful as he is, he takes that same Zealot to the grave with him, dying for a cause.
I always find his death kind of funny, but also sad.
Now with no one to man that gun, you give Admiral Keyes the package and pay it forward. Staying on Reach, giving up your salvation. Also,
Emil for me is probably my second favorite, if not my favorite Spartan. I love his character. His Spartan design as well is just awesome. Like whenever I get a multiplayer that can get his helmet or whatever, like I'm always trying to design it to look like him.
So everyone could have a chance, so everyone could later have hope. And with this sacrifice, it's over. You're left behind with all the other Spartans dying for the same cause. No trick cards, no salvation. You did your job, and you still don't get peace.
He held out for 7 to 6 hours, and they finally took him down. That's how badass he is. Oh, sorry, I mean, he's hiding in the cave somewhere, apparently.
You fight till your last breath, and die like how you started this journey.
Alone.
Alone. The hope of Reach is showing this to you. It's not just the reality of being a Spartan, but the reality of being a hero, a good person, a truly selfless person. Each member of Noble Team fell into situations of valor. None were cowards or people looking out for their best interest. If June had to jump on a grenade, he would, as well, to save everyone. That's the humanity of Spartan 3s. These are characters who do nothing and lose and fight through adversity to not win, but give someone else a chance to. And when they have the opportunity to go out loud, it's not to save the day, but rather fail with honor and purpose. Noble 6 is not important, he's not memorable, and he has no legacy. But even without the light shining on him, he still did what needed to be done. Noble Team tried. They tried their best, knowing there was no light at the end of the tunnel, but rather hope on the other side of it. And that's why Reach is my favorite Halo campaign, because to me, it's a true display of hope.
Contact with Visegrad Relay was lost last night. I responded with trooper fire teams, which have since been declared
MIA.
And now you're sending us. That's Cat, Noble 2, Meal and George 4 and 5.
Neighbors were attacked last night. He heard screams, gunfire, stopped around sunrise. Says something in the fields killed his son.
Commander, be advised, I'm reading heat signatures in that structure directly east of your position.
Barely getting you. What's your situation? Over?
Colonel, this is Noble 1. The Covenant are on Reach.
Come again, Noble 1?
To end this video, I kind of give my final thoughts. This video was phenomenal. It was exactly pretty much what I would have said, spot on. But if you guys do, of course, want to see my full scripted video on my thoughts on this game, if this video hits 10 likes, I will finish the script and I will get the video out as quick as possible. But to kind of end the video, I wanted to kind of talk about just a few things off script. This story for me is awesome. I love it. It's actually my favorite Halo campaign. Yes, when you're Master Chief, you're badass, you can take down scarabs and whatever, but this story for me felt different. It felt like, we are Noble 6. We're in a way nobody. And he died like nobody. He was forgotten. And that's, that's how I feel sometimes in life, is I feel like a nobody. At my job, if I was to die, they would just replace me. That's the reality of life. It's the reality of everything. We can get replaced in an instant. We can get replaced in an instant. That's just the reality. The story of these characters, they mean so much to me. I'm still actually trying to collect every single one of the figurines. When I remember it was Christmas 2010 when this game released. Another reason why this game means so much to me is, I was opening up all my presents and my parents somehow, they bought me the Emil figurine, and it was absolutely cool because at the time I didn't really think I liked Emil. I didn't really know that much about Reach. And I opened up this present, and I remember going to church that day because we had Christmas morning. It was Christmas morning, we had church on. And I went to church and I was showing my best friend this figurine that, this character that I'm pretty sure I did like the character at the time. I'm pretty sure I did. I can't remember. But I was just showing this character around. I was we were playing with the action figure during church, and then I think even actually on the figurine, there's actually my mate actually on the smile part, he actually scribbled it in with some pen, which is still there. If I can get a photo of it, I'll show it on screen. But yeah, it was awesome. That has just always meant something to me as well. And because we didn't actually own Reach at the time, I didn't have the money to go and buy it. I really wanted to. And I managed to borrow it from a family friend, and my brother he had to give it back that Sunday, and I remember hiding it so that my brother would forget about it, and then which actually worked. I got to keep it for another 2 weeks, which was really cool. And then I'd borrow it from my best mate, and then whenever I went to his place, we'd play a lot of Halo Reach. We'd play so much of it. The package was a mission we always played a lot. And especially Lone Wolf, we'd play Forge, we'd play multiplayer, we'd just do 1v1s and stuff like that. It was just so much fun. And I love this game. I rate it a 9.5 out of 10, which is probably my highest ranking of pretty much any game I've ever ranked. I love it. I love the story. I love the Spartans. I love Carter, Emil, George, Kat, Noble 6, as well as June. I love all the characters. And I just really love the story, and it has really inspired me to really be a writer and write stories. Yes, they're probably going to be really sad stories, but it's just something that's always inspired me to write, to keep going, to never give up on hope. And yeah, I love this game, and I always will. It'll always be special to me. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Drop a like and subscribe. If we hit that goal of 400 subscribers, that would mean the world to me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And of course, don't forget, if you guys want to see my fully scripted video and finish it, put it in the comment section down below, and of course, get this video to 10 likes, and I will make that happen. See you guys.